Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
and we are the Mark Out Movie Podcasters. And on today's episode, we're talking to horror special effects icon guru, the dude, Joe Castro. How you doing, brother?
Aaron, hi Brandon. I'm doing good
Hey,
today. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a real honor and a privilege to be here on the show with both of you. And I hope you're having an awesome October so far. How's everything going in your world?
Me, I just got off work, but yeah. Other than that, it's good. I was looking forward to this interview. Got to look at some of your hits this week, just to kind of get my palate wet for your work, my man. It's pretty awesome. Brandon, what about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm
Yeah, actually, last night I watched Terror Tunes, and we're gonna talk about it because I want to. I just gotta know how this came about. Honestly, I mean, it was fascinating to watch this on screen. It was fascinating, and I don't know. I was blown away by it because I didn't know. I just don't. I just gotta know how it all happened. How it came out. Really, honestly, it was something.
well. Uh, I don't. Most people don't know, but the original Terror Tunes was the entire movie was made for $2,300, and the whole movie was shot in 3 days, and it was filmed in a friend of mine's house, and there was only one. We only had time to do one take for each shot because that's all the money we had, and that's how we were going to do it. The whole movie
Yeah.
was based on how they used to shoot the actual science fiction horror movies back in the 1950s and 60s. They were independent films. They would shoot a movie in 3 days, and they would shoot it. They would only have enough money in the budget to shoot one take every time they shot a take, and you know, if they made a mistake in the middle of the take, they would just cut to another angle and continue filming from where they left off because that's how they made movies, and that's how we made the original Terror Tunes. Yeah. As far as the idea of how it came about, that
Yeah.
is, yeah, that's the whole movie came about. It was inspired by this evil cartoon cat that a friend of mine and I saw driving to a movie set one day. A friend of mine and I were driving to a movie set to create special effects. And we were in the car, and there was a car in front of us, and there was some evil looking cartoon cat on the back of the car in front of us on a bumper sticker. And we were both looking at it, and I forget who said what, but one of us said, "Hey, there's never been a movie with cartoon killers, but like actual cartoons that are like 3 dimensional in the real world." And then the other one said, "Yeah," and then they could like kill people with like giant cartoon weapons, but you would die for real, and it would be really gross and bloody. And we both looked at each other, and we're like, "That's a great idea. We should do it." And that's how the movie happened. Yeah.
That's amazing. I want to ask you about that because Brandon jumped to that movie first before.
Yeah, I didn't mean
That's
to.
fine.
I just kinda had
That's
to.
cool. But I was gonna ask you. 'Cause I noticed in the movie you actually cast former pro wrestler Lizzie Borden. How was it working with her in that film?
There's the DVD. Yeah. Lizzie's in this. I think Lizzie's on the. She's You can't see it. She's right here. Lizzie Borden is there. She is. Let me see if I can get close enough. Lizzie's one of my good friends right there.
Mhm.
Lizzie's one of my good friends. I consider her family. She's an artist herself. At the time, she was directing her own shot on video films, and most people know what I'm talking about. But she's a real character. She's a super talented lady, and like totally, she's so professional about everything she does. When you put her on camera, she just steals every scene she's in. She knows how to perform, and yeah, she's in every Terror Tunes movie except for part two. Part two, I went a totally different route with part two. Here's the box cover for Terror Tunes 2, and we went a different route with that one. But she's in Terror Tunes 1 and 3, and she's going to be in Terror Tunes 4 as well.
You said Terror Tunes 2. When I was
love.
talking to you before that, it was like Terror Tune 2 is standalone, correct?
Say that again.
Terror Tunes 2 is more like a standalone, you said, right?
Yeah, it's a standalone film. It doesn't really bring back any of the characters from the first film. It's Terror Tunes 1 and Terror Tunes 3 are direct sequels to each other. And part 4 will also be a direct sequel in some ways to 1 and 3. But yeah, we just went a totally different route with part 2. Yeah. So I love working with Lizzie. She has her own in Terror Tunes 4. She has her own. Terror Tunes 4 is an anthology film, and actually, we just started the Indiegogo campaign for Terror Tunes 4 yesterday. So go to my Facebook page, which is Joe Facebook.com/Joe Castro, Joe.Castro, and reach out, say hello, but check out the Indiegogo campaign there. And Lizzie has
Hey, what y'all doing?
she's
Yeah.
got a big chunk of the film. It's an anthology. Part 4 is an anthology film, and she's got a big portion of it, and I can't wait for everybody to see what she does in it.
Right. I was going to ask you about because in watching Terror Tunes 1, I noticed the care that you took with the body horror as far as like pulling out of organs and stuff like that, and cutting off of the guy's brain and stuff and pulling out the inside of the brain. I was wondering, do you study anatomy in order to kind of get things down? Because it looked very realistic. Like,
I mean, I do more now today than I did then. I think back then it was just a matter of, looking at images that inspired me to do something like that. But today, trying to perfect my craft, I look more and more. I study stuff online. I Google images and really try to make things look as absolutely realistic as.
okay, Brandon, you got a question?
Oh yeah, since I started at Terror Tunes, I will go back a little bit because I was looking you up, researching you a little bit, and I was curious who inspired you to get into special effects in the beginning. And
Okay, so you want to know what inspired me to get into special effects at the beginning?
Yeah,
I see. Yeah, growing up, I grew up in South Texas, and I, like any other young boy, I like dinosaurs, I like dragons, and one afternoon back in 1977, my dad and he said, "I want you to watch this, son. You're gonna like this movie," and it was Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, and sure enough, when I saw that film, I knew before it was over what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I wanted to make monsters and make special effects for movies, and that movie alone, standalone, inspired me to become a special effects artist.
awesome. I have to say your special effects are amazing. Like
you.
the pictures I've seen you post, or even in Terror Tunes, it was something to see. I mean, it was good up.
I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
I was amazed with your looking at from Terror Tunes to so you also worked on another little film that I like. I realized that you worked on is Campfire Tales. It says
Which one?
Campfire Tales.
Oh, Campfire Tales. Yeah. Okay.
Did you do the decapitated head?
I'm gonna be real honest with you about that film. I've never even seen that film. I worked on it, and I've never even seen it. Uh, I do remember things about it. This was like 1996, I think I want to say
James
that I worked on it.
Marston, a couple of people was in it.
Yeah, yeah. It has its own cult following. I don't remember much about that movie. I just remember being on set and throwing blood all over the set walls because it had to look like a massacre took place. And I remember that the art director was like, "Don't get too much blood on the walls because we have to shoot this scene tomorrow without blood on the same walls." And so we put a little blood on one of the walls, and the director said, "No, I want more blood on the walls." So we put a little bit more blood, and the art director would be like, "Don't do that because I have to clean it up." And so we were fighting between the art director telling us not to put blood on the walls and the director putting blood on the walls. And that's really, to be honest with you, all I remember from that movie shoot. But yeah, I have one picture of myself from that movie set with my friend who was one of the co-creators of the original Terror Tunes, and him and I have our hands are covered in blood, and I said I want to get a picture of this because I'll never forget this moment. The art director telling us not to put blood on the walls, and the director telling us to put more blood on the walls. So that was my memory from that film. Yeah, yeah.
It was actually my favorite. That segment that you worked on that you haven't seen was actually my favorite segment within the whole anthology.
That's what people
So
say. Yeah,
yeah, it's really good. And with that,
yeah.
you you've come a long way from the Terratunes, but not saying that because it was really good then. But I think that your stuff even is like even better now because you uh perfected your craft. So
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 39 years now, and I think that when you continue to try to do your very best, and I'm very focused on what I want to do with my career and what I want to do with my life, and when I want to become better at what I do in ways that other people haven't even considered. That's my whole goal is to make my craft amazing. And there of course there's a lot of naysayers out there, and I just got to prove them wrong and keep going, moving forward, and doing the next right thing. And that's it. That's it. I just gotta. I'm only. I'm. What is it? My biggest challenge is, or how they say it. The only person I'm racing is myself. I'm just trying to better myself, better than what I'm doing now. So
yeah, I definitely understand. Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, all right, all right. So before we started this, you talked about the Summer of the Massacre being the biggest kill count in the history of a slasher film. Was that always the goal to get that record when you were
you're
shooting this
talking
movie?
about. Let me
Yeah.
see. Here it is. The Summer of Massacre. I wish I could. And let me see. Can I get there? It is right there. The Summer of Massacre. All right, wait. It's weird doing it in reverse. The Summer Massacre is the Guinness Book of World Record for the highest body count in a slasher movie. There's 155 kills on screen, and when I was making the film, I wanted to set a Guinness Book of World Record, and it was very hard to keep that a secret from the entire cast and crew while we were making it. The movie is an anthology film, and so we didn't give anybody the script, so people just had pieces and parts of it, and that we didn't tell anybody what we were doing. So when it happened, it was a big surprise, and yeah, it's one of my most proud accomplishments with my partner Steven Escobar. We produced it together, and actually went to school to learn how to use After Effects in order to do a lot of the special effects in the film. There are a lot of practical effects, but a lot of it's digital as well. And this was 2010, 2011 when I was going to CGI school to learn how to do this stuff, and I was shooting the movie as we were doing. I was going to school, so it was a challenge, and I was using a lot of my classwork in the film. So I would I would go to school to learn something, and then I would apply whatever I was learning in school to the actual film. And uh, like it's kind of a first of its kind too. That film. A lot of people will look back on it and say that the CGI is not up to par with what people are doing in movies today. But you have to consider it was the first of its kind when we were doing it. And yeah, even 8 years later, everything's come a long way. But like the original Terratunes, it was also the first of its kind. This was the original Terratunes was made in 2001, and all the technology used in that film, you can find on Snapchat today, or whatever, Instagram or whatever. But back 20 years ago, no one knew how to do it, and my partner Steven himself how to use the programs to do those computer effects in that film, and it was also the first kind. Yeah.
What I like about with Terratunes is seems like everybody that was on the shoot had fun. Had fun. It looks like just the gang getting together and shooting the film, putting in long hours, but just at the end of it, you have a movie and a product that you're proud of because the love and attention that went into it. So, what was it like him, like having your own film to put together and put out there like that?
Well, when we made that movie, I don't even remember how long it took us in pre-production to set it up to shoot it. I think we had like 2 weeks to put the whole thing together. We didn't even have auditions. I think the screenplay was written in like a week, and the people that were in the film were just friends of mine that I was working with at the time, that I asked if they would want to be in the film. And I said, I don't have any money to pay you, but what we're going to do is we're going to shoot the whole movie in 3 days. So I'll need 3 days of your time to make this movie. And then when we're done, by the time the weekend's done, you will be in a feature length motion picture. And I asked them if they would do it, and they said yes. And they showed up on set, and the first day we filmed, I think it was a 12-hour day, and then the second day we filmed was a 17-hour day, and then the third day we shot for 25 hours. And it was just everybody knew that it was going to be a 3-day one take wonder of each shot. It was exciting because they all knew that it was going to be done, and we were all going to make a movie, and it was going to be for real. Yeah.
Amen. That's cool. Brandon.
Oh yeah. So I was looking you up, as I said earlier, and it says you won your first film award for the movie Ceremony.
Yeah.
Did you feel like at that moment you were going for big things? You were going to accomplish everything you set out to?
Well, when I made that first movie was it's titled Ceremony, and it's that movie was shot on 35 millimeter Panavision. It was kind of a big deal. Back in the day when you made a movie, the movies were very expensive. It's very expensive to make a film. It's not like today. And it just took a lot. We had 20 people on the crew. I had a costume department, a makeup department. I had sound department. We had 5 people operating the camera and the grip and lighting, and Panavision was involved. There was insurance for the cameras. We had film stock developing and transfer, and color correction when we transfer the 35 millimeter print to digital, or to not even to digital, but to analog beta tape, so you could be edited non-linear at the time. Non-linear editing is where you have to edit the film in order that it was in order. You start at the beginning on tape and edit it as you go along. And it's a very different time, than it is today. Non-linear editing today, you can edit any part any time, and you can take out and put back at any place where you want. Back in the day, if you were editing on analog tape, you couldn't do that. You would just have to leave a blank space He'd estimate, I need leave second there because his head's gonna come off. We haven't shot that shot yet, and continue editing the rest of the movie. And then you go back and you only had 1 second, in your on your master. It was a very different time. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought that was the way to go when we were doing it, and then digital and exploded, and nonlinear editing exploded, and we no longer had to do everything on film, and film has slowly faded away, and it's no longer really kind of exists. It's kind of ancient. It's like taking out a record player, play a song. You don't really need to do it today. You can find the same track on Shazam or iTunes.
Yeah.
You brought up Shazam. Yeah, I remember Shazam. Well, I guess there is. Yeah, Shazam's still a thing too. Yeah, I forget about that.
Yeah, I was in Target over the summer, and I had never heard or some new song. It was like a remix of an old song by Donna Summer, and I wanted to know who sang it, and I held it up to the sound system in Target, and sure enough, it gave me who the artist was. So yeah, I use Shazam all the time. I love it. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the. I want to ask about. I don't know. I'm gonna probably steal this from Brandon, and I apologize because Brandon's the big Friday 13th guy. All right, so I see that you worked on Vengeance. Friday 13th Vengeance. I believe you worked with the decapitation scene.
Yes, that's correct.
That was by far my favorite scene in the movie. It came out of nowhere for me, and I literally jaw dropped and was like, "Oh wow, okay." It was really awesome. How did you pull off going from like a real person to a practical? I assume a practical prop essentially, and it was so seamless. And I guess part of it too is the editing, but it's so seamless.
Yeah, I actually hold on a second. Hold on.
He'll be back, guys.
He'll be back. He's going to go get a prop.
Well, the Jason Brooks came down to here. It is. Here's what's left of the head 3 years later, honey. Jason Brooks came down to L.A. from up there in Washington, and I made a live cast of his head. And I have to give credit to Don Shell, a producer on the movie, and he reached out to me on Facebook and became my friend and was talking with me and asked me to be a part of this this kill scene. It was a crowdfunded movie, and Don Shell was one of the crowdfunding. And part of his crowdfunding duties was he got to design his death sequence and got to play Jason in the film. So Jason Brooks, who plays Jason in the film, was the guy killed, and Don Shell, the producer, got to get into the Jason costume and kill Jason in that scene. So Don and I figured out how we were going to do the death together with me, and asked me if I would do the special effects for it. So yeah, Jason flew down to LA for an afternoon. Basically, he showed up at like noon at the Burbank airport, and I picked him up and brought him over to the house, and we made the live cast of his head, and then I poured it up in silicone, and then we went to eat lunch, early dinner, and then I drove him back to the airport and did part of my then I got to go up on set and work with CJ Graham and Jason Brooks and Don Shell and Jeremy Brown, the director, and I got a chance to do help out on a couple of other deaths, and I wanted to stay longer, but I just couldn't. My schedule was really. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of work right now, and at the time I was very busy with working on Justin Seaman's movie, The Barn 2. And I had deadlines that needed to be completed for that film, so I had to get back to LA. Yeah, no, we made a silicone dummy of Jason, and we did pulled all the old school 80s techniques to rip off his head.
That's amazing. I
And
love it.
then,
I love you. I love what you do. I do. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, Aaron was very correct when he said I was a big Friday the 13th fan, and this kind of goes with that question a little bit. If you could pick your dream character to do special effects for, who would it be?
I'd like to. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a tough question. It'd be probably be a toss up between Jason and Godzilla. How about that?
I would love
Oh,
to
One of
see
I
the
didn't
that.
see that. That was
yeah.
a curveball
My
there. I didn't.
yeah yeah
I
I
like
would
that.
love to see that.
yeah.
I would love it, man. That would be awesome to work on a Godzilla flick. Well, for me,
But I
like,
would
yeah,
want to
I
do it.
understand what you
I,
meant by
I,
the editing.
yeah, I would want to do it totally old school with like people in monster suits and giant sets, and like maybe to add some digital, but I would want it to be all practical Godzilla stuff, like just like classic Toho studio style stuff with buildings and smashing things around and all that stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't do it in a studio though. I think most of the mistakes they make, like I would shoot it exterior though. I would build all my sets exterior. Toho likes to do everything interior, so all their skylines and backgrounds are all giant paintings and stuff. And I
That
think
thing.
they need to move away from that and like build all their sets out exterior and shoot them night and really just upgrade the craft. I mean, what happened was digital came in and it stopped the learning process of all the special effects artists that were doing practical effects, and then now you got this new tool, and so they stopped trying to improve their craft. And I think there's still so much further to go when it comes to doing miniatures and all that stuff that they used to do back in the day with practical effects in Godzilla movies. I'd like to keep moving forward with that. So if you get a chance
Do
to
you
watch
feel that?
Terror Tunes Part 3, if you get a chance, I want to say if you get a chance to watch Terror Tunes Part 3, I do a whole bunch of giant practical sets, exterior, outdoors in the film that are really great in the film. So there's a
Do you
giant
feel?
monster in the film that's I was to say that's made out of human body parts, and it's kind of like a big blob. And I built a whole bunch of miniature sets in the film that if you like all old school practical effects, you'll really like Terror Tunes 3. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I definitely would. I was gonna say, do you feel like a couple of things? One, will you ever release like a box set of all the Terratunes? Because that'd be awesome. And
Well,
two, second one, do you feel that people rely more on CGI and stuff, and needs to kind of learn some of the old, like the practical effects and blend it, like you were saying, blending it to make it its own thing?
yeah, those are good questions. One, right now, for the Tunes 4. Now, Terror Tunes 4 is already, most of it's in the can. We've got 60% of the movie already shot, and we're trying to raise funds for the last 40% of the film for this giant climactic battle scene in the film. And we're inviting the fans and Hollywood professionals to come in and be a part of the climax of the film. But one of the perks for the movie is the Terror Tunes quadrilogy, which is Terror Tunes 1 through 4 as a box set. And it also includes Terror Tunes 1.5 and a whole bunch of behind the scenes footage from all four films are going to be on the box set. So that's one of the perks. You can get it now. And then also to answer your other question, yeah, I think that there is a whole genre of people, a whole family of people that appreciate practical effects. And I think that using the computer can be done in a way that it's like a smooth blend of both, as opposed to one dominating the other. I mean, I like to even I like to take my practical effects and like finesse it with a little bit of digital to clean things up a little bit, or just to add a little bit of stuff to it. I think that's when it works the best. But like creating
I
something
agree.
solely from scratch in the computer, I think if you can go to school and learn how to do it, it's really not so much an art form anymore. And a lot of people can go to school, they can learn how to push a couple of buttons, and they can, grab this model over here and add this skin to it, and then put that light on it. Anybody can push that button and do it. It's not really an art form anymore. I think people have lost the flavor of CGI because a lot of people can do it. It's not really an art form anymore. And there are a couple of people that I'm sure that still try to improve the technology and make it mind blowing and astounding to look at. But most of it is basically color by number stuff, that's pre-built, pre-made, and pre-packaged like a McDonald's hamburger.
That's good. Go ahead, Brandon.
For my last question, I was going to ask you, as a filmmaker, when you get a script from whoever sends you a script, what are you really looking for? Like, what that stands out to you?
Well, most of the conversations I have before I even read the script is what I'm really interested in with the director. I'm wondering, is the director going to, A, if they don't have the money to do this in a way that is I'm accustomed to, are they going to be able to at least photograph it and showcase my work in a way that's going to be beneficial to all the hard work I'm going to put into creating it? If I'm not getting paid, my regular rate, then how do I go about ensuring the director is going to use me correctly? And because practical effects haven't really been in the limelight so much in the past couple of decades, a lot of directors today don't really know how to use them, and they don't know how to use their special effects artists, in a way that they're getting the maximum punch out of what the artist is bringing to the film. So, when I'm talking with these directors about working on their movies, I'm making sure, hey, are you going to listen to me when I'm on set, when I'm giving you advice about how to photograph it? Are you going to give me creative liberty to create something new? Or are you just going to copy and paste and ask me to build that? And I'd like to make things that are truly original. I like to make things that are going to be memorable, and I want my work to be showcased in a way that it's kind of like its own. The effects should be their own character. They shouldn't be forgettable. They should be, even if they're bad, they should be memorable. If they're cheap, they should be memorable.
I completely agree.
I was thinking about, like, in watching Xenophobia. I was thinking about how the alien, how like realistic it looked, and plus there was puppet. It looks like there's puppetry going on as well with the eye movements and the facial movements, and just I was blown away. I was blown away also by your cinematography in that film too, because coming from like I watched Terratoon first, and then I watched Xenophobia. I wanted to kind of go to a progression of your work, and
you're right.
And I was amazed by it. I was amazed by the what you did with it.
Well, you wanna look at your career, and hopefully, acknowledge the fact that you haven't made the same movie over and over again, which a lot of directors do. And when I made Xenophobia with my partner Steven, executive producer and the post production supervisor, and it's basically his film. Steven and I have been wanting to make this movie for 20 years. We've been together for 23 years. I actually came up with the idea 26 years ago before I met my partner Steven, and kind of like all the stars aligned 2 years ago, and we decided to make Xenophobia. But we've been wanting to make that film for many, 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 many years. We found a team of people we thought would be able to. And I tell people, if you like kind of like the Star Wars cantina scene, and you like movies from the sci-fi horror movies from the 80s, then you will like Xenophobia. It kind of has that kind of element to it. I try to do all practical aliens in the film, and But I'll let you in a little secret. All the puppetry was done digitally. So I built the aliens practically, but I animated them. That's what I like to do. I like to build it practical. I like to have everything done. I like to start with something real, and then I'll augment it digitally, which kind of makes it really cool. A whole new look that most people don't do that these days. They'll either build the alien digitally, and that's what you'll see, or they'll build the alien practically, and they'll have mechanisms in the eyes to make it blink. But to do the smooth blend of both of them, what I think works best. Yeah,
And it
that's what I
worked
did in
really well.
Xenophobia.
It did.
So
It
all that
looked
stuff,
great.
like where his nose is, when the nose is opening like this, and the eyes are blinking, and this, whispering or whatever,
Growling.
all that stuff is done. Yeah, yeah, done digitally. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I like
Um,
that.
I was gonna leave you with before I was gonna ask you one more question, and then I will turn it over to how we can find out more about Terratoons 4, what you want people to do, how they can, because I think that it's such a great opportunity that you're giving people. But before I get there, let me say, um, you who are the makeup artists and people that inspired you before you, and what do you should do? What do you suggest to those that want to come in? Maybe there's a kid that's at here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at Western Kentucky University that is in the art department but wants to get into creating uh, makeup and special effects. What do you tell those people? Who inspired you?
That's a great question. So, I would have to say, growing up, a man that influenced me greatly. There's a couple of men. One would be Tom Savini, and Tom Savini is a very well known. I think he's the king of slashers. I think his name. He's the king of slasher films, and uh, Tom, back in 1982 when I was 12 years old. I think let's see. I think he's 75 now, maybe 76. So that
Sex
means
Machine is
he
still out there,
was.
man. He's still out there.
Yeah, I think he's 25 years older than me. So when I was 12, he was. How old was he when I was 12? 12, 24, 34. He was 37, 38 when I was 12 years old, and he would literally he would literally answer my phone calls when I would call. I called him on the phone when I was 12 years old, and he would talk with me on the phone about how to do all kinds of special effects stuff. Like, he taught me how to load air into a chemical fire extinguisher, and described all kinds of different techniques to me on the phone, because I would ask him all kinds of questions about how he would do stuff in, like, Dawn of the Dead and Creep Show and whatnot. And uh, he influenced me greatly. I have nothing but kind words to say about that man. And he is also a man that did so many unique and original things, and he has been copied and duplicated and Xeroxed in so many different ways throughout filmmaking and throughout horror. And people just don't give him enough credit for all the amazing things he invented for us. So Tom was a big inspiration for me. And then, as far as giving us to young people that want to do anything creative in the film industry, I would just say, you just got to keep upgrading your craft and remain teachable. A lot of young people that have a little bit of knowledge, um, they tend to forget that there's always someone better and has something to teach them. And if you remain teachable, you will always become better and better. And some of the most amazing stuff I've learned has been from just chance, learning on a movie set from someone that has something to offer. The more I remain teachable, the better I become at what I do. And I think that you're either in it or you're not. I mean, a lot of people give up. Most people give up. Most people do. You know, most people try it for a while, and they don't get the results they want because they believe they should be somewhere else where they are at, and the truth is you are where you are when you were there, and only you can determine whether or not it's time to bail out or keep going forward. And I hope to be 99 years old and having some young director producer pick me up from my house and drive me to a movie set to create special effects for their film. And it would be great to have them pick me up in the morning and do some special effects on somebody and have lunch with the cast and crew and have them drive me home for the second half of the day. And that would be an ideal way to live out my golden years. I've been doing this for 39 years, and I have another 39 years left in me, and pretty easy to work with. Most people think that either they can't afford me or that they wouldn't know how to work with me. But if you reach out to me on Facebook, which is a great way to reach me, I'm there every day. If you want me to work on your movie, strike up a conversation. We can make it happen. I'm sure we can find a way to do it.
Hey man, that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
Brandon, you want to say something real quick?
I think it's a true blessing for you to join us. Honestly, we're honored that you would do this. I mean, honestly, and I'm a massive horror fan, but like for me, seeing what you've done, I would love to see you work on The Thing, that reboot they're doing with practical effects. I think you would be amazing. That area.
For which film? For which film?
The Thing. Blumhouse is doing
The Thing. Oh,
yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. I just think that's where I could see you going, and I hope you reach all your dreams, man. I think you're great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for saying that, Brandon. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you, Aaron. Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
And,
so if you ever make it out to LA, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say no. Go ahead, because I like invitations to LA. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I've never been there.
Out to LA. If you ever make it out to LA, make sure you reach me before you get here so we can hang out and grab coffee or dinner or something like that and talk shop. And LA is a great fun place. People not knock the West Coast, but and it's nice out here. It's real nice. That's why everybody moves out here. And there's always something fun going on in the city, and it's a very creative, fun place to be, especially if you want to work in the entertainment industry or just in entertainment period. Yeah, plenty of opportunity.
What I was going to say is, so as you said earlier within this episode, you do have Terror Tunes 4 right now boiling in the pot, getting ready to be released essentially, and you still need a little bit of help with making it what you want it to be, and and it's a great opportunity for a lot of people, it sounds like, to actually have a part in the film, but be more active in it, and it's pretty awesome. That's a very humbling and blessed thing that you're doing for people. Can you tell people a little bit more about what they need to do if they want to contact you, if they want to be a part of it, and also where can they find more of your other films and stuff?
Okay. Terror Tunes 4 is going to be the last of the franchise, and there's some amazing things in the film. First of all, we have Brink Stevens. And I don't know if you know who Brink Stevens is. Brink Stevens is a scream queen. She's been in over 200 movies. She actually makes her directorial debut in Terror Tunes 4. She directs a portion of the movie that she wrote, stars in, and directs. Linnea Quigley's in it from Eternal Living Dead. She's in the film. Linnea. So is Debbie Rochon, Scream Queen. Yeah, Scream Queen Debbie Rochon's in the movie. Billy Butler is in the film. He's the star of 13 Part 7, and he's also was the star in the remake of the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. He's in the film. Lizzie Borden's in the film. Beverly Meadows from the original film, original Terror Tunes, is in the movie. And basically, because it's the last in the franchise, I wanted to raise the funds to make sure that the climax of the movie is the quintessential look that we've always wanted Terror Tunes So the original film, of course, was made for $2,300, and we made the whole movie. We never truly achieved the Terror Toons look that I wanted it to look like, which is basically like a high-end Warner Brothers slick cartoon, Bugs Bunny cartoon, mixed with kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street. And so what we're trying to do is put together the funds to make sure that the completely polished major motion picture look to it. To finally give the audience to be in a real, actual major Hollywood look. And we're gonna pour all the money into the climax of the film. If you go to the Indiegogo campaign for Terror Toons 4, you can have the opportunity to be in the climax of the film, to be like Hollywood looking fight sequence. You can design your own gory kill in the movie. We even have one of the perks is to be decapitated on camera. And we're going to make practical decapitated heads of them. You get a chance to be in to get decapitated, and then you get to keep the decapitated head that I'm going to be making. There's all kinds of really crazy perks that you just won't get in another person's movie that we have going on in this film. And of course, there's the only way to get Terror Toons 4 is going to be to purchase the perk of the quadrilogy of the movie. So that's there as well. But yeah, reach out to me on Facebook. Yeah, like I said, it's facebook.com/joe.castro and send me a message. And then what was the second question you had for me? It was about what was
I have short-term memory, so I don't remember. No, I was saying that it was good that you that's pretty much it. That how can people reach out to you and be a part of that? And so you just told them. I appreciate it. I thank you for coming on the show. Brandon thanks you. It's been an honor just to kind of chop it up with you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Well,
yeah, it's been a great interview. Yeah.
I'll let you conclude, Brandon, since I started it off.
You're gonna let me conclude. Well, again, thank you for joining us. It's been a true honor, true pleasure. I mean that 100%. I'm Brandon Spivey.
I'm Aaron Whitlow.
And we are the Mark Out Movie Podcasters. Thank you.
Thank you.